Welcome to my channel. I'm Donna Gallant, and this week I started a class on painting acrylics thinly, so they sort of take the appearance of watercolor. And any watercolor technique, when you work with acrylics, you can use the same thing. The only thing is once it's dry, it's permanent. So that's what makes it different from watercolor. So here's one we did, which we wet the whole surface. This is canvas paper. I wet the whole surface and we dropped the color in. So you can see it's very soft. And I think I showed this to you in a previous video. This one is done on paper. So quite different. It moves around differently than watercolor, especially like this one is done with gel. So the gel is a little more, like I said before, it's sort of like milk or ice cream, melted ice cream. Okay, so generally you have a heavy body, which is right out of the tube, unless you've got a liquid or an acrylic ink. They're different. This is mixed with water, and this is mixed with gel. So you create wonderful transparencies that cover nicely up, so you can create what they call glazes. So you can glaze over a whole painting. Okay, so this is using a glazing medium. This is using a gloss medium. So matte medium works fine. Any of the gels. If you use a paste, they get thick, so you don't want to do that. You want to keep it thin. And here it is. They're over water, over another color. So there's the water. There's the glazing medium and the gloss medium. The gloss medium actually looks thinner than the glazing medium. And here you can make really nice little lines with it. Anyway, so it's really good to know what it does. And of course I did another chart here using a heavy body, a fluid, a high flow, and an ink. These are all acrylic paints. And with each thing, here it is with water, and here it is with glaze medium, and here it is with gloss medium. So the glaze and the gloss are pretty similar. The thing about using those is that it does show brush strokes because the paint is really thin, but it doesn't with water for some reason, and I don't know if the water just becomes more fluid or what. Anyway, so that's what we did last week. This week I have another one coming up, the same class, but we're going to do sort of things you add into the paint. Like this is masking fluid. So, you know, masking fluid you use a lot with watercolor to keep the white of the paper. But if you have some intricate stuff, this is really good because then you don't have to be really delicate with your brush. This is with salt, just like you do with watercolor. This is table salt. This is sea salt. They're both very fine. This one was with rubbing alcohol, dropping rubbing alcohol on top. And this one was water. See, once you put your acrylics on your paper and you leave it for a few minutes, you can put drops of water. And after it gets, before it dries, you can put a tissue on top and you can pull it off. So you end up with some really cool things. Now I had an experiment here. I tried it with the glazing medium. It didn't do a thing. It's almost like this, like I did salt. The salt almost like dissolved right into the glazing medium. I don't know. So it didn't work very well. So this week we are going to be using the masking fluid. So we're going to create something like this. Okay, so we put the masking fluid on for the daisies. And then we paint the background. And this allows you to be really nice and loose. And then after we're happy with our background, then we can take the rubber or the masking fluid off and paint our daisies in. And I did use some glazing inside the daisies so that we create more depth because we want thin color. And instead of always adding white, because white, it can make things look very chalky. So by adding a glazing medium, you keep the purity of the white of your background without disturbing the rest of it. So that is this week, and I have more classes coming up. This class will continue on next week, but my other classes will be done this week. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.